It began with a flicker, an anomaly in the star-dusted tapestry of the night, a lone pulsating light hovering over the New York City skyline, then another and another, until the sky throbbed with an ethereal glow. Millions watched, captivated, mistaking the impossible for the extraordinary. A celestial ballet, a cosmic phenomenon. The world held its breath, waiting for an encore. It received an invasion. The flickering lights descended, morphing from distant stars to colossal metallic discs. They blotted out the familiar constellations, casting the city in an unsettling emerald hue. The air crackled with energy, the temperature soared, and the night echoed with a deafening hum. This was no celestial ballet, this was war. Panic seized the streets, sirens wailed a discordant symphony of impending doom. The familiar rhythm of the city, the heartbeat of millions, dissolved into a cacophony of fear and confusion. The impossible had arrived and the world was not ready. The invasion began not with a bang but with a deafening silence. The colossal ships, now hovering over every major city across the globe, fell eerily quiet. The humming ceased, the lights dimmed, and an unsettling stillness descended upon the world. Then, the hatches opened. Thousands of smaller crafts, sleek and predatory, poured out of the motherships like a swarm of locusts. They descended upon the paralyzed cities, raining down beams of searing energy. Buildings crumbled, bridges collapsed, and the very foundations of civilization seemed to crumble under the relentless assault. The initial wave of attacks was swift, brutal, and precise. Military bases, communication hubs, centers of power, all were neutralized with surgical efficiency. The world watched in horror as the global network, the very fabric of their interconnected existence, was ripped apart in the blink of an eye. Humanity, caught off guard, could only watch in fear and disbelief as the invaders asserted their dominance. Resistance at first was scattered and futile. The world was at war with an enemy it did not understand, fighting a battle it was ill-equipped to win. The invaders were not the grotesque, tentacled creatures of science fiction, nor were they the benevolent, big-eyed beings of utopian dreams. They were something far more unsettling, humanoid in form, yet utterly alien. Tall and skeletal, their skin was a sickly mottled gray, stretched taut over an emaciated frame. Their eyes, large and black, were devoid of pupils, reflecting an intelligence that felt cold, calculating, and utterly indifferent to human life. They moved with an unsettling grace, their long, spidery limbs carrying them with an almost supernatural agility. Their weapons were an extension of their alien physiology. No lasers, no projectiles, just pure, concentrated energy, wielded with deadly precision. A touch, a gesture, and entire city blocks were reduced to rubble. They communicated through a series of clicks and whistles, their language indecipherable, their intentions unknown. But one thing was clear: these were not explorers, they were not diplomats, they were conquerors, and Earth was their prize. Ashes and echoes, the world engulfed in chaos. The world descended into chaos. The initial shock of the invasion gave way to a desperate struggle for survival. Cities lay in ruins, shrouded in smoke and the stench of death. Communication networks were down, governments had fallen, and the fragile threads of civilization unraveled. Survivors emerged from the wreckage, their faces etched with shock and disbelief. They scavenged for food, for water, for any sign of hope in a world that had been irrevocably altered. Families were torn apart, loved ones lost, and the survivors left to grapple with the enormity of their loss. The aliens, relentless in their advance, established control over strategic locations, power grids, water sources, military installations. They moved with chilling efficiency, their advanced technology rendering human resistance almost insignificant. The world watched, helpless, as the invaders tightened their grip on the planet. Humanity, it seemed, was on the brink of extinction. Rise of the Phoenix, a glimmer of hope ignites, yet, even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit refused to be extinguished. From the ashes of the old world, a new force emerged, a resistance forged in the fires of desperation and fueled by an unyielding will to survive. They were a motley crew, soldiers and scientists, hackers and engineers, ordinary people thrust into extraordinary circumstances. They operated in the shadows, striking at the invaders' weak points, exploiting any vulnerability they could find. Their victories were small, their losses heavy, but each act of defiance, each successful sabotage, chipped away at the invaders' aura of invincibility. They proved that humanity was not yet defeated, that the will to fight still flickered in the hearts of the survivors. This ragtag group of rebels, united by their determination to reclaim their planet, became a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. They were the resistance, and they were humanity's last stand. A world unwritten. the uncertain fate of humanity. The war raged on, the fate of humanity hung precariously in the balance, teetering on the edge of a knife. The aliens, though technologically superior, had underestimated the tenacity of the human spirit, the will to fight for something more than mere survival. The resistance, growing bolder with each passing day, had discovered a chink in the invaders' armor, a vulnerability to a specific frequency, a weakness they could exploit. The plan was audacious, bordering on suicidal. But it was their only chance. The fate of Earth rested on their shoulders, on the success of their desperate gamble. Would it be enough to repel the invaders, to reclaim their shattered world? Or would it be the final futile act of defiance before the curtain fell on the human race? The answer remained unwritten, lost in the fog of war and the uncertainty of a future forever changed. But one thing was certain: humanity would not face its end quietly. They would fight, tooth and nail, for every inch of their world, for every breath they had left. The battle for Earth had just begun.